Okay, so let's take a look at the display problem we're having here. Turns out, I might have been wrong, it's actually this board right here. And it's not the connector or the cabling that we've checked, but it's whatever is connecting it to the panel. So we've got to remove the panel now. Okay. Well, I took a look at the connection between this board and the display. Turns out this board plugs directly into the display. I took it out and put it back on again. See what happens. Oh, did I hook up the... Yes, I did. So far, so good. I think I may have fixed it. So it wasn't what I thought it was originally. I thought it was the panel itself and all of the connections, the connector strips that go from the panel, allow the panel to connect to the, I believe there's a kind of a, what's that term I'm looking for? Timer control board, which then translates the signal for this and all that happy stuff. But as of right now, it is fine. I may have solved my own problem without spending a dime. I love free fixes. By the way, if you ever have a laptop display apart and you start poking at things, stay away from this right here. It's not enough power to kill you, but it'll sure really make things, a little... Yeah, it hurts. It bites. These things put out enough current to bite just a little bit. Alright. So far, so good. No issues there. Just by disconnecting the board and reconnecting it. Okay. Now I gotta reassemble it. I like free fixes. Don't you? Compaq is an interesting computer company. When most laptop makers started manufacturing their laptops in black or dark charcoal finishes, Compaq continued to crank out the beige LTE series, which later became the Armada series, when they thinned it out and added a few, high-tech, innovative features. The LTE line began in the late 1980s. I believe it was 1989 was when the first LTE 386 came on the market. And it really was a very innovative laptop for its time. The LTEs were some of the first laptops to feature built-in tracking devices, or pointing devices. Starting with the trackball that was mounted on the display housing on the LTE 386s and 486s. The LTE also featured, I believe, many iterations of the LTEs featured multimedia cards. And furthermore, the LTE 5000 series was one of the first laptops to feature an internal optical drive and a multi-bay. I'll demonstrate that right here. So the floppy drive slot can also be used for a CD-ROM drive or a battery pack. Another innovative feature the LTE had may not seem innovative today, but it was back then, and that was a user-replaceable hard disk drive. Just by sliding this cover down or opening it up, the drive can be pulled right out. And that was actually done mainly for security purposes. If you were going to store or check your laptop into an airline compartment, you could pull the hard drive out, which contained all of your unencrypted corporate secrets. Because the Compaq LTE was marketed towards business accounts, I believe they were heavily leased out rather than sold outright, and they were pretty damn popular, especially in larger corporations that had massive fleets of laptops. But they were not cheap. They were, I believe, a top flight model would have retailed around $6,000. that the LTE 5000 series featured was the LED status readout, which not as good as IBM's version, but when they were new and they worked properly, they were pretty slick. You know, much nicer than having a bunch of LEDs. But this video isn't about the LTE series, which we will now power up for your enjoyment. But it's about the Armada line. Now, the Armada line replaced the LTE as the Business Warrior notebook for Compaq. But I believe for a brief period of time, the Armada was actually the upper end of Compaq's portable line. One thing I want to show you that this Armada features was something very unique to the Armada and solved an interesting problem that Compaq had in the engineering department. So, during the late 90s, there was a race to make thinner and lighter laptops. Compaq figured out that they could reduce the bulk of the LCD panel. Oh, that's painful. It has laptop arthritis. They could reduce the bulk of the LCD panel housing by shaving away the hooded areas and by moving the speakers back down to the wrist pad where they don't belong. In doing that, they came up with a unique problem. If the display housing is so thin and doesn't have any hooded or shaded areas or bulked up areas, when you close the lid, what's going to happen? Well, the keys will strike the polarizer. Compaq came up with a very innovative solution for that, starting in the thin and light beige Armada, which looked suspiciously like a thinned out LTE, by incorporating a keyboard lowering mechanism, which is something you will not see on any other laptop from any other maker. Only Compaq did this, and only on the Armada. But as I gently lower the display, the keys disappear into the top case assembly. Let me show you that again. Let's turn the laptop on to light it up, make it look more, make it stand out a little better. So the Armada was eventually phased out and replaced by the Evo series. But in its day, the Armada was one of the top-end business notebooks you could buy. In fact, I believe it was designed to compete directly with the IBM ThinkPad. So watch as I lower the display, and the keys gently lower down as the entire assembly is lowered. Another feature this laptop has are these built-in feet that allow you to give the notebook a slight typing angle advantage. Only works when used on a desk, but still pretty cool. Actually, many laptops had feet just like that throughout the 90s. In fact, some of them even had pop-down, like strut-type feet, where you would actually lift the laptop off the desk slightly, press a button, and the spring-loaded foot would pop down and lock into place. Those are cool. I've had many laptops over the years that have had that very feature. So what all can I tell you about this Armada? Well, not a whole lot. I only grabbed it to show you this one feature. That was the only reason I took this laptop from the scrap heap, which is where it came with power supply, mind you. That was pretty cool. I was shocked to see that. But this Armada ushers in a new era of laptops where they were really aiming for sleek designs, and they were fairly light on the extra features and unnecessary components. We'll walk back over to this LTE, the previous the older brother of the Armada, to show you what I mean. So this LTE features flip-down doors with ridiculously cheaply mated spring-loaded latches. The springs are nothing but ABS plastic, which is why they break all the time. The very fact that this one still has those springs intact is nothing short of a miracle. But you got doors in the back, doors in the sides. I mean, come on. Also has this ridiculous LED readout that Compaq had so many problems with they stopped making them. This one is no exception. Caps lock doesn't indicate, num lock doesn't indicate, although the hard drive activity does work, and I believe the floppy drive activity icon works as well. Let's take a look. Nope. De nada. Okay. But anyway, as they ushered in a newer generation of laptop, they started adding things like built-in volume control, on the keyboard, rather than having to change it either with a thumb wheel or the Windows control panel. The brightness can be controlled through a set of hotkeys. Actually, on this one, it's done. Usually, it's the arrow keys, but function F10. Yeah, and then you use the arrow keys to adjust it. There we go. They were bringing in some of the more modern features that we take for granted today in modern laptops. Hotkeys, for example, that could be programmed for any function when the software is installed correctly, of course. And after this particular style machine was discontinued, you started losing even more features, like the flip-down feet, the recessible keyboard assembly, and a few other odds and ends. The Armada 7400 was one of the first Compaqs to feature an optional DVD drive. This one does not have that feature. But for a fully loaded Pentium 2 laptop, for the price of a small car, this was not a bad machine. It still featured the TrackPoint device, which was favored by business professionals. It didn't quite take off in the consumer end of the spectrum. It still retained the hot swappable battery and CD-ROM drive, which is another thing that another feature that was quite popular at the time. But anyway. As for this exact machine, I'm not really sure what's going to happen to it. Like I said, I only grabbed it to make the video of the keyboard. I really wanted to show that to you guys. I try to find interesting and innovative products that were forgotten about many years ago. I wish I had an Armada with the battery pack that doubled as a handle. I can't think of the model exactly that did this. But they had one of the early Armadas had a battery pack that actually mounted to the rear of the machine and could be flipped over and used as a carrying handle. There was another one that was actually based on the Compaq Contora chassis. I don't quite know what Compaq was really doing with the Armada line because, like I said, there was a version of the Compaq Contora which is a low-end, poorly built consumer machine, that was sold through retail channels to business consumers as an Armada for some reason. But it was a very cheaply made laptop. It had a built-in trackball right about here. Very difficult to use. And it had all the design flaws that were prevalent on the Contoras. For those of you not familiar, Compaq Contoras were the low-end laptop that Compaq offered mainly for consumers, college students, teachers, people just looking for a basic portable, computer. And nothing too fancy, nothing too costly. They were still expensive. I believe they retailed for roughly $2,000 for a base model 486, but they were still better than nothing. While a base model laptop retailed for $2,000, a laptop like this could sell for $6,000. Big money. And it's funny how people today complain about a $500 laptop. I never understood that. But it cost $500. Yeah, well, you know what? It didn't cost $6,000, so shut your mouth. I have computers that cost $10,000 when they were new. You bought them because you need them, not because you wanted them. And that was one of the things about laptops. You bought them because you needed them, not because they were cool or because you wanted them. Anyway, so there we are. I finally made the video of this Armada that's been sitting in my pile of junk for so long. Let's take another look at the bottom. Let's take a quick walk around here. So our battery is held in through the front here. It does hold the charge for a good solid 5 minutes. It is an original Compaq battery. It's got an indicator on it. Look at that. Pretty neat, huh? That was another innovation. They wanted to make swapping batteries easier, so that business travelers could carry multiple batteries. But how would you know which ones were dead? Press the button. Pretty neat. Oh, this is held together with Torx screws, security bits. Dang it. I don't have my security set with me. Otherwise I'd take this off and see what kind of memory's in there. But I don't have my tools. But anyway, it's a 7400 6.4 gig hard drive. Pentium 2 333, according to that. DM1. I don't know what D it could be. I don't know. Who knows? Let's take the CD drive out. Let's take a look at the production date to give us an idea as to exactly when it was made. It doesn't say. What a shame. Yeah, it once said it, but it's blank. But it is a 24X. That was a good guess. I got it right on the first try. Will that fit the, at least in theory, will it fit the LTE? The same connector type? No, not quite. Not the same. What a shame. Okay. What else can we do here? Where's the hard drive on this one? Looks like it's mounted in the front here. But I can't get it out without removing those screws. Like I said earlier, there's stuff rattling around in there. That's always good to know. It's missing the shutters or the door that belongs here. Yeah, looks like it was a door. Oh, wait a minute. What's that? No, it's missing. Yep. Yep. Modem connection. I don't know. I thought for a second that was Ethernet, but I know it's not. It's a modem connection. I was looking at it wrong. Now, there's an option panel here. I don't know what would have gone there. Possibly. It could be a built-in network interface that would have had a dongle. But it still retains the infrared port. There's a cooling fan right there. Unusual power connector for a Compaq. It's a very unusual connector. I don't see very many of those. Compaq was usually the king of the wacky connectors for power. Looks like it has a, let's see, can you run a battery in that bay? Let's take a look. What I really like were the ones that could run multiple batteries. Those are always fun. But this one can't do that. No, cannot be done. But anyway, there it is, folks. The Armada 7400. Which we'll just stick it over here until I figure out what I'm going to do with it. Alright. That was fun. But yeah, I'm going to show you some footage now of the LTE 5280 getting fixed. I had an issue where the display had lines and stuff if you pressed a certain point or if you positioned it just at the right angle. It turned out to be a bad connection between the interconnect board and the display. All I had to do was remove the board and put it back on again. It was that simple. Just doing that reseated the connection, and it'll live to die another day. I am looking for an LTE 5000 series CD-ROM drive. If you have one, let me know. Send me a comment, send me a message, and I will make you, or tell me what you want for it. I'm not going to pay crazy money because I can buy a whole laptop for $100. But if you want to sell one for a reasonable price, I would be interested in talking to you. Furthermore, if you have another battery for this, because I want to try to get one rebuilt, but I want to have 2 batteries just in case something goes horribly wrong. So I want to rebuild the battery pack in this thing, just because I can. And that's it. I mean, I have... Oh yeah, I want more memory. So if anyone has any memory for one of these, I'd also like to talk to you as well. So yeah, hit me up. I managed to find one in mint condition. I even know a guy who has an original Compaq LTE carrying case. I could get it from him for nothing. The problem is, he is a heavy smoker, so I don't want it in my house. But I have access to an original LTE 5000 series leather case, which was a Targus product, with the Compaq logos embroidered onto it and everything. But this is one of my favorite laptops because, as I mentioned in a couple of other videos, I had an LTE 5. It was a 5150. That's what it was. And what a machine. It was beat to hell, but I fixed every little glitch, every little problem it had. I was so proud of myself. And then one of my other friends ruined it. He took the hard drive out while it was running and put it back in again while he was copying. He was actually doing me a favor. He was copying a copy of Word 97 to the drive, and, well, he popped it in the machine while it was going. Took out the IDE bus. I was so mad. So mad. But anyway. Yeah, in beautiful shape. Beautiful condition. I can't believe I found this one at a flea market in Ohio. That's where it was. And I paid, I think the guy charged me like 15 or 20 bucks. Wasn't bad. Wasn't bad at all. Oh, I'm also looking for a power supply for this. An original one. I have a Toshiba power supply that fits it, but it's not the correct one. So, I'd love to find that too. Alright, well, thanks.